Test, 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 test. All right. Welcome back. Today I'm... Wait, what did I write in the title? Feedback things. Okay. I've added... So yesterday after stream, I added a lot of stuff. Most notably, maybe foreshadowing for the attacks of monsters. Hey Squint, how's it going? I can just show you. So if a monster attacks, it now blinks yellow. Let me actually just jump right in here. So you know if you have to step out of the way or just tank the damage. So if I just wait, I'll get hit. And yeah, that's how that works right now. But I want another visual feedback, and that is the actual attack. So when the kobold here hits me, I want to see that not only on myself, but on the kobold as well. So, and the other way around as well. If I hit the kobold, I want to see that on the kobold. There's a particle that's a red streak right now, but that's barely visible. So maybe I give the entity a well, it needs an action color, which should be yellow, and it needs a hit color, which should be probably red. And what I'll do is, if an entity takes damage, I'll set a timer, maybe half a second, and then lerp all the colors of the entity together, but overridden by the damage color or the action color, which then fades down. It should be simple, but I'll have to see. So yeah, I think all the damage in the game is done through one function, so that should make it pretty easy, and that's the damage function. And there's a lot of visual stuff here as well. Do I care if the entity dies and it's in the same turn? Probably not. So what I'll do is, regardless of what the entity is, edge cases will pop up, but let's go for the main case. So let's give this a damage timer or something and set that to 0.4. And I'll have to add that in the entity. And that costs me 4 bytes. And then now I have it set, and now I need to decrement it. And I have a function that's called update visual. Yeah, that's the visual entity update. That's called every frame. And here I decrement other timers, so let's just put it there. So this decrements by the delta time, which is the frame time, until it hits 0. Okay. Can I test that easily? No. So let's just continue with the colors. That's an object. And there I have blinking. What this does is it F-mods the game clock with 400 milliseconds. So I get a repeating loop of a repeating number from 0 to 0.4. If that's above the half of it, then I blink stuff. And in the other half, I blink the action. So that if the entity is poisoned, that includes the hero. If it is poisoned, it'll blink green. But if it's also ready to strike, it'll blink green and yellow instead of green and the base color of the entity. So that gives me the color that the entity should have. That's in CI, the color index. And I can actually move this up. Yeah, that's the backdrop. That's another color, so let's move this up. What I want is just the sprite color. And now I see I'm pulsing here, pulsing important stuff. None of that's entity, an enemy. And that brings up the question, if I hit a bush, should that... I mean, the bush is destroyed instantly. But I probably don't want to lerp that. I don't think any of these have more than 1 health. So it should be fine, but let's actually look in the damage function again and only set this if it's an NPC. Or the hero. Yeah. That makes more sense. So NPCs includes heroes and animals. And the hero, of course. So what does this do? This is a lerping. So maybe I'll do the lerp before that. Yeah. So I get the color here, the real color from the color array with the color index I set here. And then I can, that's nice that I already have a lerp function here. So I need 2 lerps. Wait, do I? No, I don't. And I need 1 lerp that is from... Yeah, from the base color to the... well, actually, what is the hit color? Let's... Yeah, that's the damage color. So this is rows +1 in the color table. And then, okay, this is a sign function. I don't want that. I want the entity's damage timer. But that does not work because I only set it to 0.4. So this needs to be 1.0. And in the decrementing part, I'll just decrement it faster. Yeah, so that's 0.5 now. Should be fine. So this is set to 1, which means it renders it completely red. And this then decreases over time. So the actual color comes through. Maybe that works. Let's rebuild because I added a field to the entity struct. And let's jump somewhere. Let's see what happens. Okay, need enemy, please. And that seems to work. Yeah, the red strike is a bit weird now, but I can remove that. Yeah, and me taking damage, yeah, that's cool. That's much better. In terms of understanding what's going on. Than the red streak alone. Probably want to keep it. Maybe turn it, maybe change its color. Looks good. I mean, it's better than before, but it's a bit chaotic. But I think that's just the red streak that's throwing me off. But if you don't move fast like a maniac, then it should be pretty obvious with the blinking. But you'll have to slow down a bit to see the state. Or maybe I'll actually... Maybe I don't want it to blink. While the damage timer is active. I got a win today. I was able to skip touching some path stones. Is that normal? Do they only close off the way back? That's cool. They close off the way back and they drop a charm. So if you skip them, you lose out on the charm. But charms aren't that effective right now. Yeah, it shouldn't blink. Where am I? Okay. How do I do that? I can't do that. Okay, that needs to go into a function. Takes the base color returns blank status blank color. Color when in blink cycle. That makes sense. Okay. Actually, I need the entity. So that's do I set the color somewhere else? No, it's just initialized here. Hey Ethan, how's it going? Nice to see you. So if the damage color is active, is not active, then get the blink color. Otherwise, it's just the base color. So in this, I can just return here. No, that's wrong. Has to be this way. Okay. Going all right. How are you? I'm fine. I think I'm close to kind of a breakthrough with the with how the weapons work. Hey McNilly, how's it going? But I'm not 100% sure yet, but could be cool. And I also kind of decided, well, I'm pretty much decided that I put out a big update on August 20th, where I have the new region completed and a lot of this stuff figured out, so that I can push the promotion button on Steam. To get some more players. That's the plan. That gives me around 5 or 6, no, I think it's 5 weeks, which is enough time to finish up a lot more features and the next region. So that is the plan. And what I want to finish is having a progression system for the weapons and more optional stuff in the world, which is a tall order, but I think I can pull that off. Yeah, that's better if it doesn't blink. So yeah, I removed the special item names so that it's easier to parse. They now have the +1 names just as before, which, yeah, I think that's better. I think the game should be more focused instead of going in many different directions when it comes to items. So that's one step towards that. Okay, let's see. Blinking, I hit it. And I think that's much better. Let me see if I can remove the red streak. And that is here. What's the breakthrough? Breakthrough is, well, it's too early to talk about really, but it's how the weapons work, how the progression of the weapons work. How long did it take for your Steam page to get approved once submitted? Finished mine about 3 days ago, hoping it's quicker than a week because it can take up to 7 days, but worried it'll take longer. I actually had to submit mine twice, but I think it was around 3 to 4 weekdays. So yeah, it wasn't that long. I think it was 3 or 4 days. Can we check out your game somewhere, McNeely? I think we can when the Steam page is live. But yeah, what did I have? I had one problem on my page. Yeah, it was with the early access. There's the early access section, and there's a question along the lines of what is in the game now, and I wrote a summary, but they didn't like that and said they were kind of confused, and they told me I should just, if I have all the stuff in the description already, I should just write as an answer that that people should look in the description for what's in the game. So that was kind of, not sure why that was a problem, but yeah, be prepared to encounter something like that. And also for the demo, but that was that made sense. So for when I released the demo, you have to make a Steam page for the demo, even though nobody can see it. You can activate it if you want to, but nobody does. And the banner for the demo, they put this this badge on the top left in Steam that says demo, and that was cutting off the R in Rangedrifter, so I had to redo that. So they rejected that. And yeah, that's my experience with the store page. Okay, I removed this streak. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. I mean, that may actually be enough. Just the red colors. Yeah, this is so clear, so much clearer. That's awesome. I'm still not quite convinced with the blinking, because you can't play fast and pause it, because you'd have to get lucky that the blink occurs exactly when you need it. So it's a bit hard to read, but it also denotes that something is happening. So if it was a static yellow, then that could mean anything. Yeah, a compromise. That's pretty cool. Interesting. I also think it's interesting how AI slop games go through the same process, because it feels like a lot of garbage games with no humans involved seem to make it through. You have no idea. But I mean, if you're making AI games and you can pump them out one a week, then making a Steam page isn't that much more effort. But if you mean with the reviews, then I have no idea how Steam does its reviews. And I think they just look at if your game runs and has... I think they actually write that in the documentation, that they look at if your game runs on the platforms that you say it runs on, and if it's if it doesn't have malware. That's probably just an automated check. And then if it supports the features you say it supports, like achievements and stuff, and controllers. Yeah, but I'm not sure how they do it, because they are like, don't have the exact number, but there are like 300 games released every day on Steam. So I have no idea how they do it. But I mean, Apple does the same with the App Store, and they have probably thousands of new apps every day. Okay, let's commit this and then let's try something crazy. Oh god, what did I do? Okay, that'll take a second. This is div. Oh god, did that before stream. I think if I hit a snag, it would be difference of opinion for the support. I forgot to add something that I said I added. Yeah, I don't think Steam argues with you. they just say, hey, but they give you really detailed notes on what you have to change. So it's not like Apple where they say doesn't work, or doesn't meet the requirements. They actually give you really detailed things that you have to do, and that's super easy. So I fixed the thing with the early access answer. They wrote me what I have to do, and I did it in 5 minutes and resubmitted. So it was super easy. Have you released things on Apple before? Yeah, I've released many apps in my previous jobs. And yeah, actually they are pretty similar when it comes to effort. The process is different, but the amount of effort you need to put into is about the same. Okay, let's see what I did there. RCS diff. Oh god. Me and writing. Okay, what did I do? I changed... yeah, that was just... make slow enemies not hit slow. What's this? Div. And let's make arrow have bay color. So that's make the bash stun better. Make bash stun better. Increase all stats on level up and give Raptor extra turn. That's the important one. That could crash the game. But let's just put this in. And what was that? Game. Yeah. Did you feel surprised or overwhelmed by sales? I'm trying to temper expectations, but also would be a little sad if I didn't meet at least what I put into it. Well, going into it the first time, you don't know what to expect. So my expectations were all over the place. From selling 0 on the first day to selling 5 million on the first day, because you just don't know. But not the first day, but the first week. Yeah, it's the game sold pretty well on the first day. I think 60 copies and 100 in the first week. For that I did 0 promotion other than the YouTube channel where I shout into the void. And I did set, I think before release I said that 200 sales a month would be good, and that's what I hit. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, the gaming market is super saturated, so it's not easy to get traction. So yeah, no idea if where your expectations meet reality. But yeah, just, I mean, if you keep expectations low, then I think that's the best idea. And then just work like hell to get those numbers up over time. Max is making the big bucks. Yeah. Making the big bucks. Okay. Big bash is done better. Okay, I have another file. That's just the Status blinking. Damage. Color lerp. Damage color timer to entity. Okay. It may just look like an apartment in the background, but it's actually a 12-bedroom mansion. That's right. You're absolutely correct. And if you hear noise in the background, those are my maids that are cleaning up right now. It's not the busy street outside. Okay. So what I had an idea yesterday. I had this in the game before, but I removed it, probably for a good reason, but I can't remember the reason, so I'll try to put it back in. And that is multi-layer rendering. More than one maid, yeah. I mean, it's 12 bedrooms. That's a lot of work. So I'm pretty sure it won't work on the lowest layer because I have the visibility stuff there. But if let's go to, oh god, that's wrong. Let's go to a hut here. So there's the hut. If I look in the interior, this is now layer 1. Layer 2, layer 1. Oh, okay, I already see the problem. Okay, this won't actually work. So what I wanted to do is, it would work with a lot of extra work. So let's bring this up. Let's bring this. Okay, now it's on the same height. No, it's not. Now it's on, yeah, now it's on the same height. And in this, so if you enter a hut, I render nothing but the layer it's on. But I could, of course, all this dark space around this hut interior, it's just void. So I could pull the tile data from up here into the layer, and then it'll look like this if you're inside. That would be pretty awesome. And then everything that belongs to the upper layer can then be made darker, so it doesn't distract as much. But you would basically walk into this hut and just the roof would disappear. That makes sense. And that would be awesome. But it would also... first of all, I think this destroys... yeah. Okay, this is actually not this would need a lot of work. Problem is, if you look at this hut, it's 3 by 5, and that's exactly the interior. So if I go inside, the interior is 3 by 5, not the exterior, because that would leave me with just 3 tiles to walk on if I matched the footprint. So I can't really... I'd have to change all the interiors. In the world. But I think that's something I have to do in the long term. Then the problem is the dungeons. If I walk in here, so they have these shadows that you can't see around corners. Those would obfuscate the exterior, unless not sure. But this would make the world much more plastic, much more real, and would force me to adhere to realistic architecture. Hey Buhari, thanks for the follow. But yeah, I will need to change all interiors. I don't hate the black backgrounds when you're indoors. Yeah, I mean, there's a trade-off. The having the background completely black focuses everything, of course. So you are in building or in interior mode right now if you enter this. Which is not as strong if you can still see the rest. But just from an architectural standpoint, let me see. Okay, there's the problem with the dungeons in that they are open. So I can't port them to the surface that easily. Wait, can I? I can, maybe. Okay, now I must remember not to save this. That doesn't work. Where's a small dungeon? Here. Okay, let's not take the stuff behind the exit. Oh my god. Okay, the exit was here. So you would be walking around here. And yeah, these would be neat cutouts. And actually this needs to go one up. When the only thing that's not matching is the Z level. So all the entrances and exits, they line up perfectly. So that wouldn't be that big of a deal. And actually, if I go back here, where were the huts here? If I only take the interior, that doesn't make sense. But because it's just visual, the walls of the house would appear and disappear. So it all comes down to this tessellate tile. Actually this. And if I say instead of, so this goes through all the rendering blocks in the game, and it tessellates vertex buffers ahead of time for all of them that are visible. And for that, it just iterates over the block and pulls out all the tiles from the world and then tessellates them. And if there's no tile, which are the black areas in the well, actually everywhere, but you only see them in the underground, that means there's no tile there. So if the tile is 0, what I can do is I can just look in a different layer if there's a tile there, and then tessellate that tile. So implementing this would be super easy. And I think I have a function for that already lying around. Tile at tile in. Returns lowest layer tile or null. Okay, so this is actually already there. Sets LO to layer of tile. Oh, this is exported. That's why this. That's why it doesn't complain, even though it's unused. So let's just try it out. Let's plop that in. And then I need to set the layer. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. Something like that. And then, oh god, L. See what happens. Okay. Yeah, nothing happens. I think that's because the line of sight. Check. Okay, it crashes. That happens. Okay, that's not good. Am I still alive? Lib NVIDIA GL core. That's a bit scary. Still alive? Okay, thanks. Did I crash the NVIDIA driver? That's funny. Okay. Line of sight. And oh god. This is int. Return 1. Much easier to crash your PC when working in C. Is that right? Crashing your PC? No. Never happened to me. That could work if you're working on... okay, that could happen if you're working on drivers. If you're developing for the operating system itself. Then probably. But games... there's actually no chance. Because the operating system will just straight up kill your app before it does any damage. But you can screw up all your own stuff or delete your hard drive, something like that. But you'd have to be really careless to that. I know that the people have managed to crash their GPUs through Vulkan. Yeah, but that's then a Vulkan thing. Could do that with Vulkan bindings for Python, probably. And yeah, and that would then be the Vulkan driver that crashes the OS. Oh, here's a breakback, yeah. Okay, why does this crash? Let's see, let's look at that. Oh, I might actually be just out of V buffer space. Actually, yeah, let's increase that. Tessellation buffer size. Where is that? There it is. 5,000. Doesn't sound enough. Okay, I can see now. Because I removed the line of sight, but I just see the lower layer. So that's sad. So it is layer rendering, by the way. I'm working wishlist, working whilst watching the stream, not on paying 100% attention. So the game is divided into 4 layers. So there's the game is basically 2D, but it has 3 layers. The uppermost is the overworld. The secondmost are the interiors, like this. This is the so layer 2 is overworld, layer 1 is interiors, and layer 0 is dungeons. And I only ever render one of them. That's just it's not because I have to, but because, well, I can't render the overworld and the dungeon, because the overworld would just cover everything up. But the idea is that I now render everywhere where there are holes in the lower layers. I fill them up with the overworld, if that makes sense. But that's, well, it didn't crash. That's good, but it's not working right now. So tile in, what does it do? That's the lowest layer tile at W or null. Okay, W is just this X and Y. And sets L out to the layer of the tile. So what I want this to do is look at what I'm trying to render, which is L, this layer. And it checks here. If it's not the surface, if I'm rendering not the surface, then it looks in the other layers, or it looks upwards. Yeah, only up. And sees if there's a tile, and then returns that tile. But this should actually, why is it starting with L? Less than 2. Okay, yeah, of course it should return the layer it is on. So if it's not the surface, look upwards. but start with the current layer. So if I say render, give me a tile at this position in layer 1, it'll look at layer 1. If there's something there, it'll return the tile. If not, it'll go up to layer 2 and return that tile. But if I'm trying to render the surface, then it goes downward. Okay, I don't need that actually, but that's also a cool idea. So I could leave holes in the overworld and then it would render the dungeons underneath. That's what that does. So I think my code here is just wrong. Oh, is it? Yeah, Andre, how's it going? Nice to see you. Oh. Wait. Okay, this is pre-tessellation. So this is actually not called when the hero changes layers. That's good to remember. And it goes through all the blocks in all the layers. But it should still work. L. Weird. Weird. I mean, the function works, otherwise nothing would be rendering. What is this? Weird stuff. Okay. There's something there. There's a phantom tile. And it's gone. That's not good. Am I indexing wrong? So yeah, I haven't used this function in probably half a year, so I world to index. I mean, I could just call tile add here. Okay, this is actually the same. Yeah, super stupid. Return J. Yeah. I think I'd like to learn some C to play around with something like Raylib. Anybody have any recommendations for good, thorough resource to learn concepts in C that aren't as relevant in higher level languages, like memory management, or should I just jump in? People recommend C a modern approach. I find it usually faster to just jump in into the meat grinder. Yeah, just get the K&R, the K&R book. Read that from front to back. So this one. The C programming language. This is, yeah, I mean, there's everything in there. It's only 200 pages. Yeah. And it's got everything. And still valid today. The legendary one, yeah. The written by the OGs. And this is, yeah, so this book is the best book on C, I think. It's super concise. It's straight to the point. It's complete, and it's readable. So that's the Holy Trinity. So yeah, I would probably read that book and play around while doing so. Okay, and this is just the same. It's just this. Unused. Okay. Wait. Okay, that's L. That's, yeah, that's super bad. I yeah, it looks normal. And still doesn't do anything. What am I missing? What am I missing? Or is it just that it's so much higher in the terrain? Nope. Why? I should probably read the K&R one. Yeah, so if you're interested in C, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, and you always find something new in there. That you've forgotten or didn't know about. What is happening? Okay, let's make it super simple. If structural so if there's a tile there, then just return the tile. Otherwise, case 2. Look at 1. And 1, look at 0. Does that make sense? That's wrong. Look at 2 and 0, look at 1. And that doesn't make sense. Return this. Return 2. Oh god. Does K and R refer to the authors? Yeah, it's Kernighan and Ritchie. Turn 1. Unused L. Oh, damn it. Just don't read mastering C pointers. Palms. Yeah. What is happening? I bet it's just a stupid typo. Hmm. Jumping into the meat grinder is recommended, but with adult supervision. That's advised. Okay, I'm too stupid to figure out what's wrong here. What is going on? Oh my god. It's the stupid layer thing that I thought past me had a good reason for, but that was wrong. Conflicting types. Static. LL. Don't need that. Don't need that. I was always writing the tiles, the vertex buffers of where they came from, so nothing happened. Okay, it's much better now. Oh god. Okay, something happened. Okay. What is going on? It destroyed. Okay, this is layer 1 now. Why is it? Oh god, what's happening? If I wrote a book on C pointers, I'd just call it pointers. That's pretty good. See my C pointers in my new book, pointers. It's catchy. Okay, let me go to the bathroom real quick. Okay, I have no idea what's happening, but I have a inkling. So let's actually do only the one case, which is if it's 1, return 2. Why does that not? I think it may work, but it's not. But it's completely black. Why? And why is it? Was it not doing the edge line algorithm? For a split second, I thought Max was just wearing underwear. They're swim shorts, so haven't degenerated that much, that far. I mean, but who knows? Give me like another couple of months. Yeah, yeah. And I'll be sitting on the sofa, streaming from a phone. Okay, this doesn't make sense. Not sure why this is all black. Tessellate the tile. Oh. Wait, I do need... Oh. Okay. I need this. Static, please. Too few arguments. Makes sense. Slap people wearing a suit on the upper body for Teams call at work. But Trish is in an even less formal setting, so you don't even bother with sweatpants. Do people really do that? Having just a suit jacket on during their team calls? Because what if you need to get up? What if there's someone incessantly ringing the doorbell? That'd be pretty bad. Oh, it's because the tile is 0. It's not lit. Light at. If tile is 0, then 0. Damn. That's... I see something. But where are all the entities? Wow, this is a bit more complicated than I thought, but it makes total sense, of course. Oh, I could just render the markers. That doesn't make sense. Object. Render entity. So it renders only in the active. What is L? RES. Oh no. So only render the entities in the heroes layer. Which makes sense. But now I want to render one layer up. If this is 1, render the second layer. Well, this gets more complicated. But because what if... So with this solution I can't put entities on top of buildings. That means no trees, no bushes. Because they'll be rendered in the interior. Oh, but this looks better. And they're not animated. It looks pretty funny. Let me bring down the brightness. The exterior. And then look at it. I mean, this is completely non-functional, but gives me an idea. Of how it would look. And yeah, that's pretty jarring that it opens up. Let me try reducing this more. And then removing the interior walls. Okay, this is also completely unmanageable. In the editor with multiple layers rendering at the same time. Why did I make a step up? Oh god. When I enter this, it looks like I take a step up. And what is this? What is this light over here? Hey. Piss off, fly. So this is not really working. Would you consider changing the background color of tiles? Could have interior tiles have different backing to separate them more. That could be a cool idea, yeah. So let me undo all of this. Because that's too much work. That I'll maybe add this in half a year or something, but nav. Okay. So I have added a kind of a illusion mode that changes the background color. But I think it was here. Illusion is 1. Maybe. Haven't tried it in a few days. Yeah. So if I jump in here. I saw YouTube short of that, yeah. So this is changing the background color and also all the tile colors. I think the best use would be for it to change by region. So if you're in the forest, it's more green. It's a very dark green. In the coast, it's a very dark brown. And that would maybe be a good use. And then the interiors, yeah, as well. But the problem is, I mean, with the huts it would be fine, but the problem is the dungeons have different colors. So there are the green dungeons, brown dungeons, and they I would have to probably adjust the background color for each one of them for it not to look gaudy. So that's just too much work right now. But for the regions in general, for the overworld, that would be really cool. And for effects like these. The black background could be good generally for underground to indicate that they're dark. Yeah, but it's also really neutral. So housing interiors would fit pretty well because they're pretty neutral. And the problem is if you have, right now it's gray, but if you, or a very dark gray, but if you add a tone to it, then it's like if you have your eyes closed and look into the sun, and then you open them and everything's blue, that's what happens. So if you transition into another area where everything is, instead of yellow, everything is green, that twists all the colors and may look really bad. So the neutral gray is a good backdrop in general, but it's also a bit boring. So yeah, but that's why it's gray, because it's just the easiest and fits well with everything. And yeah, I've got a dark green backdrop for one of my demos I made on Twitch. Inspired by Caves of Cut. Oh yeah, they have nice colors. The Caves of Cut teal. How do the action colors look in this mode? Okay, they come out really clear. So I'm not sure if this is a good idea, this illusion mode, but it's maybe a bit much. But I want probably something like that. So the idea is, that's a work in progress idea, but the idea is that you at points along the path you get the ability to break out, and then it would look like this. But what I haven't added is that every few turns the platforms around you shift up or down, so everything is in movement. And yeah, that opens up new paths. So this boulder right here, not boulder but rock, large rock, would move up and down in height as you walk, as with everything else, so that it's super disorienting, but hopefully fun as well. And there also, all the enemies would be replaced with different ones when you're outside of the illusion, basically. But yeah, that's just, that'll take a bit more time before I decide to actually do that. Okay. Good. I mean, that's what I wanted to test. If I realized that it's not as easy as I thought. Probably why I removed the multiple layer rendering in the first place. Would take a heck of a lot of work to implement. Would be pretty awesome, but probably in the future. So I'll go offline and then work on some other stuff. Probably thinking more about the weapons as well. And yeah. That's the plan for today. Tomorrow I'll be back at 3 p.m. my time. That's what I'm trying to say. Have a good one, bud. I'm going to make another coffee. Yeah, me too. Thanks for Steam. I just get that C program language book. Yeah, go get it. It's it looks nice as well, so just to have in your bookshelf. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for showing up. Awesome to see you all here. Really appreciate it. And yeah, see you in 22 hours. Oh, about 22 hours. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.